Pro forma clean EBITDA is slightly ahead of consensus at just under 200 million euros. What have been the key drivers behind this performance?
The pro forma EBITDA for the year was 199.3 million euros against analyst consensus of 185 million. So I think we've done well in that respect. We've delivered that result despite the fact that we've seen an increase in gaming duties in 2011 by 28 million euros. So against that backdrop, a good result. The result has been driven by principally casino and fortunately poker performing at a level in excess of what the analysts had expected. That combined with the over-delivery of synergies. We had planned to deliver 10.1 million euros of synergies this year. We actually delivered 23 million euros of synergies, but the operating synergies were 18.3 million euros. So all said and done, a good result.
But overall, pro forma revenues were flat. How much do you think this was affected by the merger process?
So before I answer your question, I think just a bit of discussion on the matter. Yes, revenues were flat for the year, but if we stand back and reflect on the size of the revenues, 816 million euros, we are clearly the largest publicly traded online gaming operator in the world. There were a couple of factors that did impact revenues in the year. Specifically, if we compare 2010 to 2011, in 2010 we had 6 months of casino revenues. In France, our French casino business was shut down at the end of June. That was about an 8 million euro impact. And then in 2010, we had the World Cup, which was about an 11 million euro impact. So if you take those two factors into account, and on a like-for-like basis, 2011 revenues were up by 2.5% over 2010. Certainly not where we want the business to be, and certainly not how the business can perform, and that's why we merged the two enterprises. So to answer your question, there's no doubt our 2011 revenue growth was impacted by the merger, and let me dissect that. We spent the first quarter closing the deal, and I think that's often forgot, and everybody assumes because we report pro forma numbers that the companies have been together forever. Well, in fact, we've been together for 9 months in 2011. And the first 3 months we were busy at making the transaction happen and organizing ourselves for the transaction. And then we went into the process of integrating, putting the teams together, defining management, defining what technical platforms we were going to go with. All of that happened throughout the course of 2011. The good news is those efforts are starting to bear fruit. If we take a look at current trading, I've been with the organization now for 4 years. This is the first time I can ever report that all 4 product verticals are up quarter on quarter. So we're up 2% over the fourth quarter. We think it's a very good start to the year, reflective of the potential that the organization has and reflective of the magic we believe the merger will create.
However, you're showing a loss of 401.2 million euros on the continuing business, mainly due to a non-cash impairment charge of 408.7 million euros. What is this exactly?
This is a charge that we took at the end of the year that relates to the merger of the two organizations. It's very much an accounting-based adjustment and does not reflect the performance or potential of the business. And again, as we discussed earlier, the business generated cash flow of approximately 200 million euros and has tremendous potential. That being said, if we take a look at the accounting treatment, when we merged the two organizations, although it was a merger of equals, we were required to define an acquirer, and we went with the Party Gaming enterprise as the acquirer. And then we had to value the goodwill of the assets that we acquired in the bwin organization. And in doing so, we did that based on the value of the Party Gaming stock at the time of the merger. Subsequent to closing the merger, in fact, literally 6 days after closing the merger, the German government announced their new state treaty. And the bwin.party stock declined by approximately 30%, and then there has been a series of other announcements within the European community about regulation, which have had a negative impact on the stock value. We made the decision to actually adjust the value of the bwin.party goodwill at the end of the year, and hence the charge that we've taken.